going to, instead of a FISA report, they're going to have to go to, they're going to subpoena documents, subpoena the books, figure out where the money's getting tracked, and we all know it'll be a 12 to 24 month process. That's simple as that. That's just my dumb opinion. Thank you for the 30 seconds.
Where did the $25 billion for homelessness go? We don't even know.
No. Listen, it doesn't matter how much money the government wastes. It doesn't matter how inefficient. We have to keep coming up with examples. Anybody else have any examples? You have to prove how inefficient the government in California does. You have. Does anyone else have any more examples?
I care where it goes. I don't know because we don't care where they're going to pay.
Because life is as simple. Politics is as simple as this. Get more money from the rich and everything else is going to solve itself. Once we have more money, it's just going to solve the problems. It's not about anything other than that.
Minimizing it down to just that is like being disingenuous about what's being said.
It's management of more money and wealth. That's the problem. How do we manage it? How do we tax people with a lot of money? It's something new. It's a new phenomenon. It's like, how old is it? Within the last 10 years, people are like billionaires. We haven't seen this before. How are we going to deal with that? We have to.
Well, you've seen it in France. In France, they did it, and the millionaires and billionaires just left France. That's all that happened.
Yeah, and I don't know what people aren't living in reality. Someone just said that Elon Musk is the richest person on the planet. If you believe, the reason why my name is NPC is for people like you. If you believe that Elon Musk is the richest person on the planet, this person on the planet doesn't even report their income, and they're probably somewhere in Saudi Arabia or some shit. This is what I'm talking about. When I say these really, really extreme things, that's what y'all is saying. Because when you guys talk about taxing people, you speak in a way as if the government, whether federal or state, has a track history of using that money effectively. If this was a Robin Hood, if this was a situation where you're actually taking from the rich and giving to the poor, maybe you could justify it, but that's not even happening. You talk as if that's happening. The government takes $1, it spits out a nickel, gives a nickel to the poor person, and then the 95 cents goes somewhere else.
It goes to administering the 5 cents.
It goes, and then you guys speak as if if a person wants low taxes, they just are helping the rich. But you're gonna make poor people poorer and rich people.
I mean,
would you rather be taxing poor people and then giving it back to Elon in the form of subsidies? Because that's what's happening. You're saying, why would we tax rich people? The government's not going to use it efficiently to give it back to poor people. Well, then why the fuck would we tax poor people and give it back to rich people inefficiently?
Poor people don't pay taxes.
What stupid fucking logic is that?
Poor people don't pay taxes.
Use it?
So everybody pays some form of taxes.
Did you know that Elon is rich because of subsidies? Because of taxpayer money?
He got rich way before he got any subsidies. Way before.
Stop taxing
people pay
poor
to have
people
their problems.
to give the money to rich people.
Poor people in California absolutely do pay taxes, by the way.
Poor people definitely pay taxes. I'm a poor person and I pay taxes. I'm a poor person and I pay taxes. And y'all,
when you buy liquor or a cigarette.
No, I have income taxes. I have no idea why I have income taxes, but there's something that
they give a bad account.
So y'all, he's not Norm, he's not a Jew, so pretty bad account. He's not Jew. So y'all,
we used to have a hierarchy structure that worked. And it worked because it was based on something. The whites created it, and it worked. And those were like the old type of white people, maybe European, with some aristocratic background, but like a pedigree. And then suddenly Americans, like idiots like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, they come into the picture, and then they become like the new types of riches. But that's what communism, like China's communism, is benefiting from. Is like that sort of power structure has now somehow been diminished, where it actually worked and they could have nothing against it. But because of these fucking monkeys like Elon Musk, okay, so what?
Wow.
He
The fuck you calling a monkey?
this?
That's like what?
Wait,
A
what you
$1
calling a monkey?
tax?
You guys are complaining about
unbelievable.
taxes.
It's because Elon Musk is African American. You don't.
Yeah, that is filthy. We don't allow
No, but you know, she's not even coherent.
You have to, this like, it's a
Fucking
mismanagement of your minorities. And
We need to make the whites great again in America.
Wait, can you? All right, so BB.
Can you let her finish her statement, bro?
No, she interrupted. She literally interrupted me, literally to be retarded.
Don't let her
Can I get in the key?
Like literally nothing she said. And I let her say it because I wanted to see where she'd go, but she's completely incoherent. Like, just instantly following this is what she said. Nothing that she says
Monkeys, none of y'all are rich.
So why can't I land? She's incoherent, cannot interrupt me. Okay, stop being incoherent.
by the way.
So at the end of the day, if giving governments more money solves problems, the only thing I'm saying is this. The way that the progressive tax system is now, a philosopher can go over if it's fair or not, but we all know that increasing the amount of money that people are paying in taxes, first of all, it's the biggest lie that they do. These taxes end up hitting everyone eventually. The second thing is that increasing the amount of money isn't going to solve the problem. So if increasing the amount of money isn't going to solve the social problems that we want money to do, then what's the point of increasing the thing? That's my only point. If we know that, hey, increasing the amount of money is not going to lead to the result that we want, then what's the point of increasing taxes? If it did, I'd have no problem with increasing taxes.
That's
We're going to end up with
insanity.
is
He's doing
people
the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
The reality is, okay, yeah, we have taxes, but a smart man knows how to play the taxes. They just read, and like Mr. Normo said to you, if you want counseling, talk to him. You know, freaking a simple Edward Jones or even a money guy or gal will sit there and talk to a company worker. You don't have to be a small business guy or gal. You just gotta be smart with your money. I'm just trying to help you out.
That's right.
The reason why I'm saying that, boss, is, you know, I want to say this. Orange Man said this in 2016 when he was asked, but your friends all got the same government tax write-offs. Why? Because they put it in place. That you don't have to be a billionaire or millionaire to get the same subsidies like Mr. Joel was complaining about. You just gotta be smart and learn how to read a little bit and learn where your state politicians that are trying to be crooked on the back end. You just gotta learn how they put them out there in plain sight, because that's how they gotta learn how to play the game.
Yeah.
You just gotta learn how to play the game. Just gotta learn how to play the game.
put to rest this idea that Elon Musk got all of these subsidies from the government. Yes, he got money from the government. You know what he got it for? He got it first for SpaceX because he was doing something the government couldn't do. Now, the left likes to talk about all their NGOs and all of these organizations that get billions of dollars of government to carry out policies that the government wants to get done. And when it's doing something like helping feed poor people in East Mongolia who need education on the difference between leftist and right, and leftists, need to be educated on leftist queer artwork in New York City as it developed in the 1950s. They're happy to fund governments like that. But when it comes to Elon Musk,
I want to see pictures of lesbians doing scissors. Why not?
They funded him because of SpaceX and all of the satellites and everything else and the advancement in space technology that he was providing. The second thing they funded him for was for Tesla, which what has the left been pushing for years?
Electric vehicles.
Oh yeah, electric vehicles. And so they gave him, like every other state, like every other locality, they gave him tax benefits. Why? Because if he didn't But in California, he was going to go to Tennessee or maybe Arkansas. Guess what? There was competition between the states. So yes, he got money to do those things. And why?
That's right.
So that people, us the consumers, would benefit, number one, from the space technology that the government couldn't do, and number two, from electric vehicles. And those are things that I think, forgive me for my extreme example, but I think those things are more beneficial to us as Americans than, say, trying to teach a mother in East Mongolia about the history of leftist
They're drag queens. Drag queens.
Thank you.
Drag queen story order in Afghanistan.
What? What is that? Is that a thing?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, so the U.S. government funding the U.S. government funding like transgender places in Brazil.
Well, I mean, that just
really
comes
comes
from
more
a different
from
part of
CIA.
the budget.
It's still all
but
money,
Really
though.
have no
But
overlap.
it's still taxpayer money in spirit. But my question to you is, what do you think about? So
Is it?
it's not. So no. So if it's not taxpayer money, what is it?
What do I think about?
But this has been outlined in the budget. So in Congress, this has been
I'm just
outlined in the
asking.
budgets. That all of this weird spending for shit like that. That's
Well,
it's been pointed out a
even
million
if
times.
it goes abroad, it doesn't mean that it should go to stuff like
Sure.
be to better things.
No, wait. So this is my. So I like to have real conversations. So given what everyone has said, let's assume that let's assume for the sake of conversation that increasing, just for the sake of conversation, increasing the amount that we tax rich people isn't education. But let's assume for the sake of argument.
Can you let him ask the question?
So my question is, if we are looking to tackle these problems without raising taxes, where would you start? Or do you even think it's possible?
Reallocate funds from the police.
Police?
Number one. Yeah, this is not. Well, this is not like a.
Never mind.
This is not like a defund kind of situation, but I do know that there's like an immense amount of like unnecessary tensions. Excuse me, no, this is not. No, if you guys are gonna ask a question, please at least let me get the answer. Okay.
Why would you take money away
So,
from the police?
I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain it.
Let her explain.
Yeah.
So
You're taking money
I
away
know
from
that.
working men and women.
No, I'm taking money away from things. So like extra. No, I'm not, oh my God! Do you guys do this all the time?
Do they not leave?
I'm sure they do. So helicopters, new fleets of Teslas and Chargers, things that are like not actually necessary, and like not. Oh my God! Can you shut up, David? Can you shut up?
We took it away.
Can you shut up? Did somebody ask you this question? Thank
So
you.
your judgment that
And
you
just
have
taking-
electric cars?
No, just taking like, shaving off a little bit each year and just reallocating those funds to somewhere else. To lots of other places.
where?
No, but okay. So
To schools primarily, I think.
That's what
I can't hear everybody. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, listen, So built into the question is the premise that money can't solve the problem.
Yeah.
So
No,
so
money.
even
Like, money can't solve the problem.
No, I made the hypothetical. How are you gonna tell? The hypothetical is that adding money won't solve the problem. So taking away money from a police officer's new Tesla, or making sure that the sheriff office of Bay County doesn't get a new tank, like taking away their like making sure that they don't have any access to nukes and taking away their money, like the police making sure that they're gutted.
Okay.
No, because they're a terrorist organization. We're talking about the police, the worst people in the world. So taking away money from those people is not going to do anything because why highlight the
ICE were the worst people in the world.
No, my question is, money can't help the situation. How can you help other than money? No matter how much money you
behave very
had,
well and risking their lives every day for like people like me. So I don't know whatever kind of mindset you come from, but I don't think that's fair.
so long story short, the hypothetical situation is you can't add money anywhere. You can't take away money from anywhere. Adding money is not going to solve this problem at all. What would you do to help the problem?
Nothing moves without money, dude. Sorry.
Well, I'll volunteer it.
That might work somewhere else, but nothing moves without
money.
money.
Doesn't help. I mean, like, for example, improving spending. The more you spend on a school doesn't mean it's going to do better. In fact, there's like a minimal amount you need to spend. But Bill and Melinda Gates ended up figuring this out well over a decade ago, and they ended up realizing, well, it's you have to focus on a lot of things outside of the school to really make any kind of fucking difference. And often
Like
that
what?
could be well. It's so there's so many things. What control can you have? Like, for example, how were you raised? What kind of parents do you have? Are they even around? Do you have what kind of environment do you have? Money can't even change that.
It can.
No, it can't actually. For example, No, it can't. I'll tell you why. When I was working with the mentally ill population here in my county, you had the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community, which has very large casinos and spring training facilities. They bring in a lot of money. Everybody gets a per cap check every 3 months. Mm-hmm. They make a lot of money. Now, they had a lot of issues. This is intergenerational. What they ended up having to do is once the per cap checks were coming in, they're like, oh shit, they're partying. There goes the domestic assaults, the drunk driving incidents, everything, but they're still not doing any better. The kids are still fucking up. They ended up having to put a whole bunch of these people on forced payees to make sure that they don't go out doing drugs with their money. They had to get a bunch of services basically to help the kids and to do a lot of foster parenting, honestly. And so we don't have the ability to do this for everybody in America. So it's kind of silly.
No, I'm not talking about everybody in America. I'm talking about California. What everybody else in America wants to do is fine.
You have a vision of going somewhere.
Yeah, so when I say like putting things into schools, this means like reintroducing like post-elementary after-school programs, something that I think actually disincentivizes young people to continue their education, to stay engaged. They don't have places to go, so they run the streets. Like things that like people like Alan and Alan and Normo kind of, had these structures. It's not about what the school's job is. They asked me how else could it help, right? So like when I say school, so when I say school, I'm sorry, Norma, I didn't hear what you said.
What structure do I have? I didn't know that.
Oh, so back in the before times in the 1900s, like you guys had like social programs, right?
I don't think no one was alive in 1900.
No, there were none.
There were none.
We had way less
in your time.
We had a lot less social programs in the first half of the 20th century than we did in the latter half. People don't really realize this too. A lot of those immigrants that you saw come here from Europe, a big chunk of them ended up having to go home because there was zero safety nets for them. And so poor people were a lot poorer back then. But even then, you can save money and all these. But why is one of the poorest communities in New York City? Why are their kids? Why do they outperform every other group? And that's the Chinese. Literally, more than half of them live under the poverty line. Yet they do better than every group.
I don't know, dude.
It's because the Chinese control the media. It's cultural.
I mean, they have that whole part of
Yeah, there might be cultural pressures from the parent to achieve.
Well, then maybe there's culture that needs to change in America too, because it seems like it's not money; it's got culture.
Did you just say the oppression to achieve?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I said there might be cultural pressures to achieve. Like, this is like a common narrative amongst migrant, refugee, and immigrant people who live in America.
You're right, but like, so my thing is like, all right, so we don't really have any answers on what to do other than add more money and the problem's gonna go away. But
what? No, I was in the middle of giving more answers before I got jumped on.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all good.
Oh, you can go ahead. I didn't know you were bad.
Yeah, like incentivize more. I guess like extracurricular support for kids that is like low to no cost. And this is not like just like straight up babysitter shit. This is like, oh, let's build leaders type shit. You know what I mean? Like, if the world's gonna be STEM, let it be STEM. If the world's gonna be politics, let it be politics. Definitely increase civics classes and make like that compulsory learning, like up and down, offer free classes.
Like an electrician or something.
Okay, yeah, and that's cool. So make sure that the opportunities for apprenticeship.
This doesn't improve.
Well, what about the homeless? No. What about the because like.
You don't want to know my thoughts on homelessness. This is probably going to make me the worst person in the world.
No, I mean the current homelessness, like
your thoughts. They keep talking over.
Like the current homelessness. How are you?
Okay, Othello. Did you hold on, NPC? Othello, did you have something to say? I'm sorry, I'm talking so much.
No, I was saying that they don't want to know any of your thoughts because they keep talking over you every time you speak.
Oh, I mean, it's fine. I have a twin sister, so I'm used to being spoken over.
I'm just curious though, because if you were to look at you know the people that you see sleeping in tents and that kind of homelessness out in California, like once again with that job that I had, this is something that was always talked about, and California is kind of a dumping ground for a lot of those people for reasons. These are what we consider long-term homeless. The vast majority of homeless people never end up out on the street like that. These are almost all people that are seriously mentally ill, drug addicted, but oftentimes both. And that is a population that is incredibly hard to deal with. So, like, I can give you an example. You can put the seriously mentally ill here, like in my county, you can find a place for them to live. We have funding for that. Now, if that seriously mentally ill person wants to do drugs, they can't do drugs where they live. Staff aren't they'll get kicked out. They can't have drugs at a federally or state funded program. And so where do they go? On the fucking street? And it's this very sad situation, but a lot of this is it's not as simple as it looks. But when you look at California, they waste so much fucking money. It is. I mean, taxes is robbery in California.
So I have a question.
Anything.
In this case, is it okay for the government to scoop them up and fuck them somewhere else and not let them fucking shit all over your streets, bring the fucking property values down, and it's like almost like they're doing some political parties bidding, and that's why they're allowed to be doing these things? Because to be honest, they probably could, if they wanted to. If they really wanted to, they could be rehabilitated, but sometimes these people don't want to be rehabilitated.
There's usually the relapse.
But if they don't,
it usually takes multiple attempts if they ever get clean. That's the reality.
Why do they have to do it in fucking prime location and shit on everybody else's parades?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, so Pepe, I'm just gonna address quickly what you said, and then we can move on. Homelessness for me is like a different type of issue. As a person who was homeless during the pandemic, I learned a lot about homelessness. I learned how invisible you feel and how people treat you. And I wasn't mentally ill or drug addicted. I definitely lost both my parents during this time and 5 of my family members. And so, if I were built of tougher stuff, I think I would have easily sunken into the place that's claimed, more than 260,000 people in California. So to me, the way to address this is to do it before, right? So like for the people who are about to lose their home, they're likely mostly families or struggling whatever entertainer thing. Create pathways so that is not as much of a future for them as it definitely is here. I can't just think of, of what those things might be right now, but I'm sure that it's better than, asking for money and then being like, poof, it's gone. I understand, what everybody's been saying about missing money and promise projects and stuff. So this is one of those ways, like homeless prevention is a way to prevent, like, not just, family, but people entering into a space where now you are drug addicted, now you are mentally ill, now you're slipping. And for a lot of people who are homeless, you don't want to leave homelessness because it offers you a pathway to freedom, as opposed to being locked up in a system where you have to follow people's rules, and that's not something that you've been used to for the, I don't know, X number of years you've been homeless, right?
But I can kind of get what you're saying, but I just want to make one little point, and that's that this. When I say mental illness, that's, you're almost always referring to the SMI system, seriously mentally ill. So that's going to be schizophrenia and that kind of stuff, which always precedes the homelessness. And the drug addiction, they usually end up, I don't know if you've known drug addicts, but it's often, and their life ends up spiraling. They end up not being able to keep,
Yeah, I'm aware. It's incredibly hard to battle back from that, for sure. So I would also bring back mental health facilities, aka like the loony bin, but make it like less inhumane and more ethical. You know what I mean? The reason they closed down in the first place.
The problem is that our fucking population is like spiraled out of control. It's like maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, it would be easy just to put people away in like these asylums that were like almost like, like 4-star hotels. But today, it's like there's so many of them.
No, they really weren't. I don't know
what I mean.
Maybe that's on the East Coast.
There's so many of us. So even if it's like, let's say society was trying to like deal with like that part of their communities, it's like, how are we going to find funding for that? Where are we going to put them? And it's like, but maybe some more emphasis.
Well, no, she's like,
put on this instead of like, maybe we have to come to that. Sorry.
What she said she felt invisible when she was homeless. Now, that is almost entirely true of the homeless and seriously mentally ill population. They tend not to be civically engaged. They tend to have no fucking voice anybody will listen to. Nobody is gonna, unlike, I don't know, some of the lobbying groups who are gonna fucking hound all of the politicians to get, favors and, spending on things that will benefit them and help make them more money. The homeless they have nothing.
I mean, yeah, unless, and it's hard, unless you are a person who is like, was civically minded before you entered homelessness. I mean, like, once that time in your life levels out, you become, I've seen, incredibly energized to speak on other people's behalf. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a grueling process, and like, I'm kind of split. I think a lot of people come to California, especially Southern California, to just kind of use it up for its wares. I wish those people would go back to where the fuck they came from, instead of being on meth in 6 months and becoming homeless. I wish that this wasn't a city of dreams that makes people delusional, so that they could go back to Iowa, Montana, Idaho, Ohio, Kentucky.
I would much rather be in Southern California than.
Of course, because it is actually climatically more lucrative for people to be. You literally will. I mean, like, weather-wise, you are less likely to die. Other people, good luck to you, but at least you won't die in the snow and nobody will find your body until it does. Okay, so like, I understand that part, but it can't continue to be like that with just no services for those people to actually actively engage in, right? And all of that takes active work, and it takes people who actually are dedicated and really care about the state. And I don't think, the one criticism I will make right now of the government in California is that I think we have like some politicians on both sides and in the middle, shout out independents and fucking libertarians, who just don't give a fuck about the state, and they care about power, and they care about their voice, only theirs. Right, and their families, and like the intents of their of their legacy, their lineage, or what they came from, or whatever. And really, the state's too big for it not to be a collective effort, and for people not to, kind of not work together, but just be down to be progressive and move forward, trying whatever. So there are a lot of solutions that could help a lot of things. Is it any of that shit gonna happen? No. People only respond to suffering, so may the best man win.
And sometimes I remember, so I have this one coworker. She doesn't eat any processed food, okay? Our office is on the 13th floor. Okay, we have elevators, really, really high-tech elevators. Every single morning, she elects to use the stairs, okay? She's rich as hell. Like, she's rich as hell. She's like 65. She's like the most healthy person I've ever seen. No sugar, no processed foods. And it's not because she's diabetic. She's just super, super healthy for some reason. And she saw me eating a Pop-Tart, right? And when she saw me eating the Pop-Tart, it was like I was eating sewage. Like, she was like, oh my God, how can you handle that? That's too much. That's too sweet. To me, it was heaven. When you look at some homeless people in California, they're in heaven. There isn't any money that you can give them to not make them an addict, because that's what addiction is. Coming from a former addict myself. Like, that's what addiction, it's a mental health issue. So the reason why I asked you the question I asked you, Xerxes, is because through this conversation, we're starting to realize that there are so many human problems that are much bigger than writing a check away. And the homelessness is one of those problems. They actually have access to services. A lot of them don't want to live within the perimeter to receive those services. You can't force them to. You can't put a gun to their head. The other problems we're talking about, the home issue. The reason why the homes are expensive in California is because the people who are upper middle class, who own the homes, are really the middle class is keeping the lower class out of owning homes. It's not even the rich. It's not even BlackRock. It's middle class people wanting to have their homes appreciate, so they're just against multifamily properties in their neighborhoods, which increases artificially the price of homes. That's why the single family home issue in some parts of California is the issue. And that's because of democracy. Like, people voted for that. So you can't take that away, because it's not rich people who are doing it. It's middle-class Americans who are fucking doing this. So there's so many problems that are just bigger than you just point money at it and then it goes away. These are humans with different interests and free will.
But again, it's the minimizing of just pointing money at it. Like, this isn't just, when I say reallocate funds, or when I say tax whoever, right? It's not just like suck up the money and then like.
So it's not about money. When you say reallocate, I'm saying, and when you're saying
please
tax,
listen to what I'm saying.
I'm saying this discussion's over. Hi, Monica. You can go anytime.
Yeah. When I say that, I mean, like, there has to be a flow of where the money goes. It has to be efficient. People who are trustworthy and not crooks, which is a problem in different places here, have to be in charge of this stuff. And, there has to be, like, a set of checks and balances and an efficient model of getting this stuff rolled out, not just because the World Cup is coming, not just because the Olympics will be here in 2 years, because people are suffering, whether it be in the sun or in the shade. So
the dude, his name is Sam. He's the dude who created FTX, and he's in jail for stealing all that money. Yes, Sam Altman, right? So this is what makes him uncomfortable.
You're saying Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried, that dude. So what makes me uncomfortable is that certain people have a higher sensitivity to the greed of the private market, but they don't have that sensitivity to the obvious corruption, greed, and the same things happen within government. At least in the private market, when a person's being greedy, they're greedy with something that they earned. They might have earned it by cheating, or a lot of them don't cheat.
NPC, can I just say something? I just
No, BB. Why asked a question in that, no, you can't. No, you can't say something. And then Monica's after me. So the only thing I'm saying is that
it was her before you. But
actually, then she can go now. Monica, you want to go now? Monica.
Yeah. Hey guys. Scotty, is this your room? It's a great title. Very interesting. Y'all are on homeless in California though, so I do want to talk about the topics. Are y'all ready for us to circle back, or you need me to wait a little longer?
No, that's what we're talking about.
Your incentive, Monica.
All right, so I think it'd be foolish for Trump to resign now. Joe Rogan was at the White House Saturday morning talking about ibogaine, which has an effective mitigation rate for addiction at the first dose, 80%, allegedly. We should investigate that. It also might be effective in depression, and we know that liberals, strong leftist liberals, have the higher rates of mental illness in our society. So that will be great. Yeah, I think it'd be dumb for him to resign. I'm ready to see what's next in store for us.
So, okay.
I mean, like, liberal-minded people have a higher rate of mental illness because they're diagnosed?
No, so my sort of my 2 cents to this would be like, well,
I think it's because they're crazy. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but it's like,
well,
I don't think
that's an unsubstantiated claim.
Don't say crazy anymore.
I don't
What
do
do we say, Dave?
unsubstantiated claims, Cecil.
Even if you prove it, it's going to move on to something else. People on the left have. She's just going to say that thing. But my thing is this. It seems I just rather prefer it if people are just against big money. It doesn't seem like people are against big money. They lost $25 billion.
Against big money. That's what
No,
makes your country.
Wait, you just said you wouldn't. Why are you interrupting me? It drives me crazy when you do it. Like, it actually drives me crazy when you do it. Because the way you communicate is so schizophrenic, it makes me schizophrenic. You're the person I hate when they interrupt. Because you're incoherent. I don't know if you're diagnosed. Like, can you stop interrupting me, please? Stop it. Bad. So the only thing I'm saying is that you look at $50 billion. $50 billion. We can only account for $25 billion. So let me put this into communist language for you.
Homeless population went up.
$5 billion.
The homeless population went up during that period. $
$25 billion. Imagine if there's 25, if we took a clone machine and put 25 Elon Musk, 25 Jeff Bezos, 25 rich billionaire white, 25 Donald Trump. We're not talking about unrealized gains. We're talking about liquid. We're talking about now.
Can you stop?
We're talking about
listen
liquid.
what he has to say.
And every single time she does this, I feel like I have to restart, and it just makes my submission so much longer. I should not be talking this long. It's weird. The only thing I'm saying is that it seems like, given a person's political disposition, they're against corruption in the private market, but they're not against the biggest. If this ever, how do you lose $25 billion in the private market? If you lose $25 billion, that's going to be on the front page of Forbes, and every single NBA is going to learn about it for the next 100 years. How do you lose $25 billion? We're talking about liquid money. We're not talking about, oh, you're a billionaire because you have stocks that haven't been sold yet. We're talking about $25 billion liquid.
Is it a billion with a B?
And these are the same people who are like, just give them more money. They'll be fine. Just get a person who won't fuck it up. They already fucked over $25 billion on homelessness. And it didn't even go to them. So my question to you is like, do you ever have the critiques of the government when it comes to that? Like, is there a difference between private corruption and public corruption? How
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I mean, like, as a civic-minded voter, I'm hella critical on all politicians, whether they're on my side or not, whether they speak to things I want or not. Well, I'm a Democrat, but oh no, man. Yeah, I'm a Democrat, but I mean, like, I grew up in a politically subversive household. My mom was a Black Panther. My dad fought in Vietnam. I've been reading Kafka and Ayn Rand and all of this stuff since I was like 10 years old, bro. I'm not new to the game. I don't trust any of them.
The government can save you. You're for revolutionaries. You don't trust the government a bit.
Because what I've learned in my history of activism is that there are many places for many people to fight, right? There are public places for people to fight, and there are inside places for people to fight. And I prefer to break things from the inside using their own tools. So I will do that, and I do that, and I encourage people to do that, right? So I believe, despite, I don't know who else is like Black, but NPC, if you've ever heard like other Black people say like, I don't vote because our votes don't matter because the government doesn't like us, blah, 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 XYZ thing, right? I'm the person that's like, have you heard that before? I don't want to just...
Yeah. So okay. I fuck with your ideology.
I'm the person who's like, no, dude, this is what they want you to believe. The more you believe this and the more you proselytize this, the worse things get, not just for you, but for every person, okay? And I take it further, and I
find this on the chat. Say that on the chat.
Yeah, so I take it further, and I do things, I create things so that I can stay safe, because I was like a public activist. I've been shot with rubber bullets, tear gassed, all of that stuff. I don't really want to do that anymore. Really dangerous. I love breathing and living, but I still do want to fight. So every election year, whether it's the midterms or federal elections, I will create entire voter guides, and I will call every single person that I know in a state who I think doesn't understand legislative text and explain them and ask them, do you understand? Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to engage? And they can take that information to other people, right? Because I care about what things do.
I love that. I love that you create a vote.
No, but I like your history, but I don't think that. What about government? Because when it comes to the lack of trust for private actors, we understand that people can be greedy in a private market. But what about?
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, I've spat in the face of governors on the steps of my city hall. Please don't think I'm like playing games with these people. If I see corruption anywhere and I have the ability to speak or do something about it, I do it.
Okay, so the way that California is right now, they don't have to raise a single increased tax dollar. They can solve all their problems right now without raising taxes at all, and that's just the fact of the matter.
How?
So if your mind abundance, there's a book out right now called Abundance by Ezra Klein. Read Abundance by Ezra Klein, and you can figure out how to be a successful integrationist. And the way to be a successful integrationist is by having a government. You cannot be a successful person.
Having a what government?
Oh, my bad. Efficient government.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot be an integrationist without having efficient government. Because if you don't have efficient government...
Gaslighting everyone who's smarter than you.
What?
Okay, he'll stop now. He promises. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you don't have efficient government, what you're going to have are people who criticize the government justly because they're inefficient. And then you're going to have people who defend the inefficient government just because they're status quo. And you're going to have what you have right now. So you get the worst of both worlds when you have inefficient government. You don't get the benefits of a government, and people who want to tear the system down are legitimized, and chaos doesn't really help that many people. So this is the issue with Democrats. They don't treat government inefficiency like the crime against humanity that it is. Because government inefficiency is what I'm calling it to be nice. The majority of this shit is not inefficiency, it's just corruption.
Well,
government inefficiency should right next to...
Yeah, sorry.
I'm about to land. Elon Musk is the worst person who was ever born, right next to maybe Jeff Bezos. Right up there should be government inefficiency. I want you to hate government inefficiency just as much as you hate Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
That's what
I just I think the grace that you have heard from me, you guys have heard from me, is my thoughts of like, well, if I, there's always the question of if you were in control, right? Like if I were to do it, how would I do it? And the thought becomes suffocating over time. I've been asked this question several times over several years, and it makes me like consider the complexities of different offices, right? Like, what could I actually do? Even just knowing some people who work in government now, right? Like, one of my friends who I used to dance with was running for office, and I yelled at him. I said, well, like, why? Why would you want to work for these people? What do you mean? Like, are you okay? And he's liberal, but still, I asked the question, like, like, I don't know, like, is your soul good, bro? And he was like, I just want to expose these motherfuckers. And I was like, oh, you're never going to get anywhere if that's your goal, right? And I'm happy I was wrong. Because he absolutely did get elected, and he has been exposing these motherfuckers left and right for like a few years now, so much so that they want him gone. He's young. He doesn't give a fuck. He uses all of the things that the young people like to see, big old billboards, memes, all of it, to just expose the corruption into what.
Yeah, moral victories. We love moral victories.
No. These are real victories because he's showing people raw data of like charts of how much money is being spent in the county on different things and how little of that goes to us and what they can do.
But by the way, your friend is amazing.
Well, a lot of people don't know that.
No, but even when they find out, Xerxes, even when they find out, one of the reasons you're different, you actually, like, you're a good sport to talk to. Most of the times when we tell people who are left-leaning about the inefficiencies of California, it's almost like they act like they don't hear it. Like people know, it's an open secret that California is probably the least efficient state government in the country.
Well, I mean, like, I have to be honest. This is like, it could be true for any people who are, I guess, like, nationalistic to their state, right? Like, I could say the same thing about Kentuckians who refuse to believe climate models despite the fact that their shit got rocked 2 years ago, right? Like, you literally are living on stick huts because of floods, and you think, like, oh no, like, let's not even hear any of that, right? Our governments believe the same thing, right? There's no such thing as climate change. We don't have to prepare for shit. Okay, what I do is just stop talking to them about it. That's what you want, right? I do this with liberals in my own state, conservatives in my own state. You guys don't, I'm not gonna waste my breath on people who are willfully ignorant. I'm gonna talk to the people who want to move. Again, things I learned from being an activist.
Wow. It's a new brave world, by the way. Did you ever read that?
No, she's talking about what's called the persuadable. She works on the political metric known as persuadables. People whose lives she can make a difference in, and with the information and experience she has that she provides. Mm-hmm. Right?
And I don't really care, like, what like, side you're on either. Like, although I exist, on the left, I don't, unless you're actually just being a fucking, like, bigot, racist, or an asshole, I'm still gonna give you the time of day. I'll still engage with you, honestly, in good faith, all of those things. We can talk about it. We can walk away, shake hands, be friends, whatever it is you want. We can do all of that stuff as long as it equates to, like, movement. Right? What I can't do is people who are stagnant in their ideas. I don't care if your ideas are like, the only people that matter are women, and we should only fight for women's rights. This is the most important thing. To me, that's stagnant. I'm sorry. Like, there are tons of people suffering. As a woman, I understand the plight of females. And it's real, right? I'm not dismissing it. But, like, also, what else, though? You know what I mean? Because the what else is what gets us, to tie our shoes and to start walking. I'm just not, I'm no longer interested in people who are just here for a fucking ride, bro. Like,
you know what? Something you said kind of, and maybe y'all want to talk more. I have haven't seen a climate change.
And
I haven't.
And you know what? I really hate that about the people within the black.
I don't know.
Baby,
Come on.
Also, the thing is, it's a proof of low IQ because it doesn't lead anywhere.
Don't take the bait.
It doesn't take you anywhere. All it does is always just take you back to square one, back to square one, back to square one. Because it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I don't know if it comes from
Collect 200 and go back to go.
If it comes, but even if you're proud, if you're proud of something, it's like but then you're like, oh, okay, something is being done wrong in the wrong way, but because I'm proud, I want it to be done in the right way, but I don't know. So what is it?
That's subjective.
What is it?
Why is subjective?
What is it? No, what is it with you? It's like even your woman, like your women can figure it out. Like, no, but you keep trying and you keep trying, and if it doesn't work for you, you just gaslight. And then you're like, oh, it's the Jews' fault, or it's the whites' fault, or it's Trump's fault, or it's like whatever. But it keeps, and then you get, on an American side, you get overrun by the fucking.
How about we stop fighting for those fucking faggots and let them fight for themselves?
Who used to be like lawn mowers, they even have more credibility than you fucking people who had credibility by birth.
Just so you know, we've not had Mexican immigration into the United States since 2005. The people we catch are Guatemalan, Honduran, Ecuadorian.
Why people like put you up, like on a.
Nobody put me up. I live on the border, lady.
No,
You're talking like Hispanic.
Marshall, is that you talking like
lady?
Can you either put her in the audience or just ignore her? Because I don't know why you
Put her in the audience. We should listen to everybody. Let's listen to everybody.
Xerxes put her in the audience.
I think
All right, I did. I got it.
I think
It's done.
that's what happens.
Oh, I thought you weren't going to do any moderation without top left's permission,
Hold on.
God gave me permission.
That's what happens when you come in these rooms with a certain agenda and you fail to follow
He's
the flow of
coming.
the conversation. And so, BB, man, you have this agenda to attack black people, and it's like we're not even there.
I love black people.
She loves black people. She's never racist to black people. This is silly.
I love when
Put her down, people. Put her down.
Let her talk.
Put her down. Put her down. Put her down. Put her down.
I know when minorities
BB, go down. BB, go down.
Bro, Jason, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we're talking about American issues. Stay on topic, girl. Go start a room if you want to hyper focus on. That's fine.
Look, we just don't need to
Okay,
spend
I'll just
all this
finish
time
what I was saying.
Sick, awesome.
Put a button in it.
Yeah, I just had to nip it in the bud. Stay on topic, man.
But okay, so some of y'all have amazing listening skills, but when a person's being completely incoherent, they might as well be drunk. Just treat them like a drunk person. Don't try to go back and forth with them like they're saying anything coherent, because they're not.
Hey, be nice to those people.
Yeah, so the only thing that I'm saying is that I was going to pivot over to climate change, because I haven't seen a climate change room. And Xerxes, you were talking about climate change, and I haven't seen a climate change room in a minute.
I thought it was global warming.
Yeah, I just don't talk about
it was global warming, and then they had to update the lie.
Well, I don't talk about it anymore because for people who don't either understand or have a firm belief in climate change, it's just, there's nothing really to say at this point. And for people who do, we all know that,
So Xerxes, let me ask you two questions.
Sure.
Is the climate changing, yes or no?
Well, the climate is always changing every day.
No, is the climate changing, yes or no? It's a person.
Yes.
Okay, correct answer. Can spending more tax dollars solve it?
Well, money can't solve climate change, and we are far beyond the point of solving climate change. It is now about mitigating. One second, please let me finish my answer. So now the conversation, at least for the people in the North, needs to be about mitigating harm and potential fatalities.
But why is most of the agenda, at least from the governmental part, about increasing taxes if money can't solve the problem, if it's already too late. Whatever reason, whether it's natural, whether it's man-made, the same scientists that you believe in have said that you can't reverse it. So what's the point of increasing taxes because climate is changing?
Ooh, that's a good point.
So when you, I'm assuming that the tax dollars, or whatever fund is accrued, would go to like research in mitigation for harm.
Well, you said
research for why am I forgetting what it's called? But like just like disaster prevention
or something like
No,
that.
but we can't
disaster
prevent it.
prevention and
But we can't prevent it.
you know, like
not climate prevention, disaster prevention.
But money won't solve it.
That's not true.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter how much money you give the state of
That is not true.
At a certain point, it's still gonna be what it's gonna be in 100 years. It doesn't matter how much money you give the state of Louisiana.
That is not true.
Maybe, but then you said something that's even better.
Yeah.
You said assuming. But your parents are like Black Panthers. Like, so you're assuming. Well, first of all, you're assuming that the government. You're assuming the reason why the government wants to. The American government wants to tax more people is because it proactively, 100 years before, 200 years. All this research is our government's known to be proactive. Like, you believe that the American government is proactively trying to help its citizens to.
I think that some governments may be, maybe not our government as much.
No, I'm just speaking about our government because I only know the climate lobby in our government.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of get the main idea that the climate lobby, it's the methods, the prescriptions that it gives doesn't match the illness nor the medicine. None of it makes sense.
The climate lobby and climate scientists would be speaking to people who, largely for 40 years at least, maybe even more, who like initially don't really understand the concept that they're trying to describe, right? It does just kind of set in as panic or fear mongering, and then you go into like a 30-year lifespan of greenwashing and making people believe that they're doing something when really these things, they help, your immediate surroundings, but what's actually happening, what's been done, it doesn't help that
but
much.
even Bill Gates has pulled away from the climate situation. Like, it's not and nobody cares at this point. So.
But this is what I said about having debates surrounding climate change. I don't do it personally because what am I to say to people? It is just kind of like, we'll wait and see then.
No,
when one volcano going off causes more harm to the world than a million cars. I mean,
that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with climate change. But bringing up volcanoes.
What goes in the atmosphere has to do with climate.
Yeah, when Mount Helen erupted the last time,
we're talking.
It changed world temperature by a degree.
Yes, I understand. I know all of that stuff. When people are talking about climate change and climate science, they're talking about human impacts on the climate, not geological disasters.
My point is, when one volcano can cause more disruption than all humans on Earth, then it's not an issue.
That's an insane thing to say, but you could go ahead and have that statement to yourself.
I think it's
how's that insane?
I think there's a fair take that, like, if we're going to put, hundreds of billions of dollars into mitigating a risk, to keep the temperature 1 degree lower, but there are these other risks that we just can do nothing that can raise the temperature by 1.5 degrees, then maybe we got to think differently about this problem.
Correct. So this is why I said, Jason, it's about mitigating risk and harm to like fatalities, right? So this isn't like risk and harm to like take down the percentage of the earth cooling. This is like, how do we create or focus on infrastructure models that help people survive things like Hurricane Katrina, the floods in Appalachia, like, if we're going to take it out of America, the numerous floods last summer and the summer before in the Mediterranean and the global south, like, like there are people who live at the most exposed points of these things, of these kinds of disasters, which would be at the, the equatorial countries and at either side of the tropics. And these are some of the poorest countries. They are leading research on this because they know that they are the most at risk, right? So when I listen to people talk about these things, and it's gone past a belief in climate science. You don't have to believe it in order to know that something can take you out that is because of this thing. You can choose to ignore it, and then you'll be the person that's on. I don't mean you guys in the room. You can choose to ignore it, and then you'll be the person on the news saying, I didn't know that this could happen. This hasn't happened in X amount of years. I heard about this from my grandma. We're just going to be rebuild. You can be that person till the end of time, until it gets you or it doesn't, whatever.
But until it gets you, or do you even understand the models that you believe in? Because none of them,
I do.
Like none of the models say that anything. Well, like you guys remember the movie 2012? Like, you guys remember the movie 2012? But like, none of the things in 2012. Yeah, none of the things in 2012 happened within our lifetime. And even if they did happen, it wouldn't happen like that. Like, what do you?
Yes.
This is what I mean. What are you talking about?
Correct.
Like none of the
So
things
I'm
that we're
talking
saying,
about an increase in intensity. You're asking a question, I'm going to answer. You're asking about an increase in intensity of climatic disasters, right? An increase in the number of, one second, I'm still speaking, the increase in the number of hurricanes, the increase of the intensity of the hurricanes, the increase in the number of tornadoes, the increase in the intensity. But nobody is expecting.
What they're talking about is the sea levels.
2012
What they're talking about
movie.
I know it is. And you said you didn't know what it was, but obviously you know what it is now.
What do you mean? I know what 2012
the sea levels. Listen, we're talking about Louisiana. We're talking about certain parts of Florida. We're talking about the type of climate change that has been sold to us. No, yeah. We're talking about the type of climate change that has been sold to us that certain American cities won't exist. We're not talking about a really, really harsh storm. We're talking about the sea levels rising to where some cities aren't cities anymore.
Yeah,
that is not true. That's not going to happen.
I mean, you can say that now because it's not true right now.
No, but you don't say that.
If you read,
The science doesn't even show that.
If you watch, who's the vice president? What's his name? Al Gore. You watch his Inconvenient Truth. What he proposes in that movie, based on studies that he was referencing, we should all be underwater by now. But we shouldn't all be underwater.
So tell the year.
Yes, it does. They had the dramatic animation showing where all the cities are going to be across the country. We're all going to be underwater. He showed that animation. That was part of the...
Tell me, Xerxes, tell us the years.
It's crazy, and I agree with you, but that's what he put in his movie.
Tell us the year. David's wrong. He doesn't know anything. But tell us the year. Tell us the year where it's going to be estimated that certain American cities are going to be underwater. Tell us the year.
I don't know if I am clairvoyant enough to say that.
No, but the science. We're not talking about the internet. What is the science?
Yeah, he's not asking you
We're talking
what
about
you
the science.
think. He's asking what are some common predictions about that?
Oh, I don't know.
There are some studies where it already should have been underwater.
Oh, okay. Did you want to answer, David? Go ahead.
He's not gonna answer with anything, but I think the broader point, the point I appreciate NPC raising, okay, is he's ultimately saying, well, look at the tax policies in developed countries, in California, in America, in Canada, at Western countries. What are all these northern countries? What do they think they are accomplishing? These low population, in many cases, very low population countries, what do they think they're accomplishing by taxing gasoline at the pump? Okay, this will accomplish nothing for the climate. Zero. It will just, it will haul a bunch of money into the government.
They want people to stop.
But that amount of government, that amount of money coming into the government, it's not earmarked for anything, okay, to do with the climate. They're just spending the money. Okay, not that carbon taxes, no, they are not, David.
The gas tax, I mean.
No, there are specific gas taxes in some of these countries for the environment.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
Okay, yeah, well, you just don't know what you're talking about, so shut up. So these kind of taxes, they cannot accomplish anything. Okay, they are theatrical. All right, and they are a way though for the government to get big, which it loves to do. Okay, the government just loves to take money and get big. That's just a natural thing for it to do, based on this climate story and many other stories of like goodness or justice or whatever are leveraged in the same way. Okay, and that I think is a really fair point here. All right, you can't just be like, it's nice that the government tells me a nice story about something that's a problem, and they say, okay, there's a tax about it, and it's like, okay, what is this? But then the part about like, well, what does the tax have to do with doing anything about it? That part of the story is left out. And are we asking this question? Are we insisting on any kind of relationship there? No, we're not.
Okay.
So why don't you become a Republican and support Donald Trump? Okay?
I would never do that. I prefer my president having the ability to read.
I got something.
Not a question, though. That is the.
I got some.
I'm just goofing around, okay? I'm just goofing around.
No, that was so funny.
So I got some ideas for this. As a landowner, I've noticed differences in the climate, increased droughts, sometimes heavier rains. But two things we could do in my area in particular: mangroves to hold the coastline together, which is really important, and then plant seagrass. Like we have a place called Laguna Madre, and Laguna Madre is basically all seagrass. That promotes oxygen in the ocean, which helps the atmosphere. Apparently we get 2 out of every 3 breaths from the ocean. So those are 2 things we can invest in that, are natural and would be a really good thing and, help produce more oxygen.
But this doesn't
know
matter,
what?
Marshall.
If the carbon tax went immediately to funding an institution that made pollution less, because plastic, in my opinion, plastic pollution is the single worst thing that we're doing to the planet. The microplastics, if you catch salmon in the middle of the Atlantic, it's still going to have fabric softener in it because of what we do to the planet. So, in my opinion, I feel like climate change is dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous is because it flattens what it means to care about the earth. Instead of caring about things that are really actually going to move the needle, not a fucking solar panel that's going to end up in a landfill that we have to destroy the plant to even mine the materials for, not a fucking windmill that's going to kill all the birds and kill all the whales, not none of those, but actual things that change the planet. We're not focusing on nuclear energy. We're not focusing on thorium reactors. We're not focusing on getting plastic out of our lives and off of our planet. But instead, we're focusing on a big tidal wave that's not going to come when or how they say it's going to come.
I mean, you can't, just like I can't predict if it's going to come, you can not predict if it's not, right? So I think we should maybe stay out of the realm of hypothesis in that way.
The models, the scientific models that you love show it's not.
You have this really interesting way of framing things that are intentionally antagonistic, and while I'm not provoked by them, I do find them a nuisance. I think the projected model is for 2050, and that's the one that I have learned for, 3 years.
Okay, great. So in 2050, Miami's not going to exist. Lafayette,
maybe. I mean, it's possible, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was your answer. You said you know before, now you found the study. So before, basically, I'm 27 now. So before 2050, yeah, I'll still be alive then, hopefully. So most of the people in the room are going to be alive when Miami is absorbed by the climate monster.
I mean, it's possible. It's also, there are a myriad of things that can happen in between then and now.
Yeah, there are. But government policy can't be based on we don't know if it's going to happen. We don't know if it's not going to happen. So let's take everybody's money for the tidal wave that may happen or may not. You don't have a good reason to take people's money.
Yeah, so...
And we got to push back on the government when they don't have a good reason.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you in the sense of it should be direct and clear about what funds are going to be used for what, and those plans immediately go into action. They absolutely incentivize those communities, maybe even, by way of making jobs for those communities, because somebody has to put the shit together. All good things. I just don't know. I don't know. I do know. Often when people say things like this, they say this in effort, and I'm not accusing you of this, Jason, but they say this in effort to cripple the argument that things should be done at all. I don't.
That's true, but I'm not saying that.
Of course, and I didn't say that you. I don't want you to believe that I believe that you're doing that. I do not. But I have seen the ways that different communities in different countries have for this whole 30 years, because they've been enduring things that are not inside of the normal things they understand climatically, done things to change, even more countries. There's a reason why I talked about, houses on sticks, stick huts. It's because, in places where people can't, build strong foundations because they likely don't have, a ton of materials, time, money, whatever, they just build their houses on sticks so that the floodwaters can pass and they're less likely to endure, hardship or death, right? It looks like this, right? So, when people are talking post-Katrina about levees and stuff like this, it looks like that, right? It's not like this grandiose, nebulous, imaginary thing where the money just goes up into the sky and maybe comes down as less rain.
You're saying it's coming in. Okay, so if it's coming in 2050, you just made an assumption. You're giving the government not
an assumption.
You said you don't know what they're doing with the money. You said that. And you gave them the benefit of the doubt, and you gave them the benefit of the doubt that, hey, maybe they're using this money for preventative measures, but you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Why would you give a government the benefit of the doubt that just wasted $25 billion on the homeless crisis, which is an actual crisis that's hitting now? On the real crisis that's hitting now.
Okay, NPC, relax, bro. You don't have to yell at me. I'm listening.
No, I'm saying, but the reason why I'm elevated is because the real crisis.
It's frustrating.
It's not frustrating yet. I'm having fun. The real crisis that's happening now, $25 billion gone. Yeah, it is. Yeah, $25 billion gone. And you're saying that I'm going to give the government the benefit of the doubt that they're taking up this money 30 years in advance, but they're doing the right thing. They have our best interest in mind.
They just need more money.
It's a little bit different here where I live. So, climate scientists and climatology and earth science studies and all those things are as native to California as a poppy. There's a reason other than just elitism, tech bros, fintech homies, fintech regulations, and the myriad of other things that people hate California for. It's also because we for a while instituted EPA laws, right? Things that go to save the planet, right?
But they can just reverse that.
And you guys, the rest of the country can decide now in this time whether or not they want to follow those things. I'm sure everybody can find their way. That's cool. But
the rest of the country wants to drive an F-150.
Bro, the Tourette's from you is getting annoying. It really is. Did you want to just have the floor to speak, David? I can yield for you.
No, I reserve the balance of my time.
Okay. Where we focus on things, or at least the government does, right? So, cliff faces falling off, mitigating harm. There are regulations that say you can't build on those places, regardless of the view and how beautiful it is. We now know it's just harm. Instituting geological surveys for people who are buying homes, regardless of where you're buying those homes, super important to the landscape, super important to the safety of the people buying those homes. Instituting laws like these, right?
They already have those laws in places in multiple parts of the country.
Yeah, how do you mitigate an earthquake?
Oh my god.
But they already have those laws in place for most of the country already.
Okay. How do you mitigate an earthquake? How do you mitigate harm from an earthquake? Disaster preparedness. It's something that we just learned. We like native.
An earthquake is going to happen if it wants to happen.
Yes, and there are ways that you can save yourself, and there are things that you should not do. Right?
Like what?
Somebody.
There are building codes.
Stand next to a window, I guess.
There are building codes, David, that help mitigate actually quite a bit. And,
but a lot of the mitigation she's talking about has already been implemented in society already.
Yes.
It's not like we're zero mitigation and then she's like,
That's not what I'm saying, though.
So we have to go hard.
It's not going to have
against
as big of an impact.
Yeah, so we have to go hard against the government taking money for these illusory, non-definite gains. Because NPC is right. NPC is right. You have there's this law of diminishing returns. I mean, you can't make building codes that much. Okay, we have basically identified the places that easily collapse and that you can't live on, and we're pretty much done with that process. I mean, honestly, the only thing we can do after this is say, look, New York is a low-lying island. Get off of it. You know, nobody can live on the coast of Florida anymore. That's basically all that's left. Like, we picked all the low-hanging fruit in terms of places you can't.
Yeah, but everyone likes
building standards that are safe and things like that.
And this is assuming that the tidal wave is going to come in 2050. This is all assuming that the tidal wave is going to come.
Or anything.
What if the asteroid hits the water then?
Oh my god.
You need to use violence, okay, and remove him. Okay, David, stop resisting. Stop resisting, David. Okay, use force. I'll distract him, and then you put him up the stage.
That's not why they say that. That's crazy. I'm actually new here as of today, so I won't be removing anyone. I'm so sorry. I don't think that's really my place. I don't really know how I got this bean.
The reason why I find this fun, someone was like, oh, you fun.
Yeah.
I find it really, really fun, the arguments that people make even though they know the truth. Because Xerxes, we started this conversation by both of us agreeing. 2 questions. You got both of those questions correct. We both admitted that whatever momentum the climate has, there's nothing that we can do to stop it.
Yeah, the climate's going to do what the climate wants to do.
The climate change that we're witnessing, and then you're going to these like really, really fringe ideas.
No, it's not fringe, bro. Like, because we exist as humans, the thing that we care about is important, right? It's why is it important? It's because people want to live, right? So now we move past the point.
We just came to the conclusion that we're not stopping the catastrophe.
You cannot stop
the catastrophe is so catastrophic that the damage control that you're suggesting is going to happen won't even fucking matter because you won't be able to.
That's not true. I'm so sorry. You're not qualified to make that judgment. I just have to put that out there.
You just remembered
Xerxes, I hate to break it to you, but
sure,
NPC is a citizen.
Sure.
That's the qualification you need to make decisions in this country. Okay.
Yes.
The citizens who are sovereign in this country. No one has a qualification to make a decision other than us and the people we elect. We are sovereign here.
It's not about decisions. It's not about decisions. I didn't say he wasn't qualified to make a decision.
My vote counts.
I said he wasn't qualified to make that assumption.
What is your vote?
Yes, it does.
I haven't. Well, to be fair to you, Xerxes, there's a lot of assumptions that you've made that you verbatim in this conversation say, I'm about to make it. You literally said you've made several assumptions, and
which ones?
You made an assumption that the state would have. You gave the state a benefit of the doubt, which is something you called an assumption verbatim, and you said they're probably using the money. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they're probably using the money for preventative measures. That's what you said. You made an assumption of how the state was allocating money.
But my assumption is based on the things that I've seen, right? Is yours?
My assumptions are based on the things that I've seen. I've seen
really how?
Yes, I've seen states use benevolent causes to absorb money to not use a single cent of that
No,
money
but
to
what was the
solve
statement
any
that you made, NPC?
Which one?
The one that we are arguing about currently. What was the statement that you made?
The first thing I started off with was the two questions that we agreed on. And then I started to pick your brain about, and then when I started to pick your brain, you said, I'm a go out on a limb and kind of assume that, hey, they're doing this, they're going to take this.
Now fast forward to 5 minutes ago.
Okay. My only point is that, are you asking me my point?
Yes.
Hopefully. No, you gotta tell her my point.
Oh my god.
My only Friday? My only question is this. My only question is this. Like genuinely speaking, you're not a stupid person. We both know that this problem, we can't stop it anymore, no matter what we do. Knowing how inefficient the government is with money, seeing how many times the government has manufactured a crisis, absorb the money, absorb the power. Yeah, they do that. Black Panther, they do that. Like, your parents know about that. So
I don't know what you mean by that. My parents are
You've never heard about manufactured crises from the government?
I don't know what you mean by that.
You've never heard the term like a manufactured crisis?
I have heard that, but I don't know what you're referring to.
So, like, if you look at the word manufacture...
No, I mean, like, a specific instance. I know what it means.
A specific instance.
The whole climate change thing is a manufactured crisis.
So
no, use something that isn't climate change.
No, but climate change actually is.
Okay, use something that isn't climate change.
All right, I can use 9/11.
Oh, okay.
I can use Pearl Harbor. I can use manufactured crisis. The easiest one, fucking COVID-19. That's the easiest manufactured crisis. It was actually manufactured.
The pay gap is a manufactured
The pay gap is another manufactured crisis. Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you
police shootings
look at
of
men and women's
unarmed
wages, when you
people.
control hours worked. So she's very NPC, but it's very, very.
No, I'm really not.
But Jason is also.
I'm clearly not.
You're not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, hold on. Let's not all fight here. Let's just everybody relax. You
literally just got here. We're fighting for fun. If you don't like it, dip. Honestly.
Wait. Chill out. What's the attitude for? I don't.
No, I like the fight. Don't tell them to react. Don't tell them to. Sure, Night King. Would you like me to play the recording of you singing?
Sure,
we can fight over that.
We can play that. I love my singing.
The pay gap is a great example of a manufactured crisis.
That is my favorite manufactured.
I just wanted examples.
Yeah, and that's like something people talk about all the time. Another one is the shooting of unarmed black men by police, for all these liberal politicians, it's an epidemic. Turns out not to be real.
No, it is a real epidemic. It's one leading cause of death for young black men.
It doesn't happen. Okay?
Yes, it does.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it does.
Police do not shoot hardly anybody. They're not a leading cause of death for anyone.
I feel like I want to come to this phone and just say,
He's a pseudo.
Jason just wants to see more dead black people.
It's true. This is
Wait,
true.
that wasn't you, Necro? That was
it's manufactured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so NPC.
Just for the record, about
go ahead,
about
Scott.
1 in 1,000 black men and boys can expect to die at the hands of police, according to a new analysis of deaths involving law enforcement officers. That makes them 2.5 times more likely than white men and boys to die during an encounter with police.
Can you?
But they are not unarmed. Okay, there was this whole
Can you
thing
chat GPT this
about
though? Hold on,
unarmed.
Jason.
There's
He
this
has
whole
to
thing-
chat.
Why do you guys always talk over each other? Oh my fucking god!
There's this whole
He's just
thing
autistically
about unarmed black men being shot by police. God, it doesn't happen. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's just a myth. Okay, they're overwhelmingly armed, involved in violent crime. when they get shot by police, just like everybody else who gets shot.
Yeah, we
by
all know
police.
that. Like Roland G. Fryer's study showed only like 9 men in like not 2019 or 18. Yeah, we're well aware of
Okay.
that. But I do want to ask Scott if you can look this up. Can you look up the number of so you said that black boys men are 2.5 times more likely to die at the hands of the police in comparison to whites. Can you look at how much more likely black police officers are likely to be killed by a black male as opposed to a white male? I'm pretty sure that's going to kind of paint a really pretty picture for you.
Black folk, like we over here, just nothing. We get killed at the hands of the police, especially in states like mine. Texas, it's not a good deal, right? It sucks, and it's not a myth. And for the other guy that said it's a myth, brother, what in the world are you living in? What world are you living
No, he's saying unarmed black males, that is true. That is, you're about as more likely to get struck by lightning.
Pepe, you have.
They got killed. Cool.
Just because it's unlikely don't mean it don't happen.
But a person, you have to
Ashton is, hold on, Ashton is still trying to talk. If we could just let her finish and then address her point, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Ashton.
For the folks to champion or be, that's nothing, that's okay. No, it's not okay. Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't want it to be your family members or somebody lose their lives at the hands of the police or whatever. It always seems like somebody who is not with the sign of not only the times, but what's going on. Brother, you might want to get up and figure out what you're trying to do and say to folks. Because you cannot sit here in real life, brother, and say the stuff that you saying to black folks and say, well, your lives and what happened to you, that's just a myth. We're not trying to hear that, especially folks in the South. Please come again and try over. Like the operator says on the other line, how can I help you, operator number 1? You're number 2, and you suck. You're the weakest link. I'm sorry, brother. What you just said is just out of control.
Nice.
You cannot say this stuff. I'm sorry.
You guys kill each other at a disproportionate. No offense when it comes to black people. I'm not trolling. Stop.
No, let's not. Because, I don't like the truth. The truth turns everybody into a liar.
Oh my God.
And this is the issue. Ashton, what he was saying was that
I just wanted to talk. That's what.
At least we just kill ourselves.
I talk a lot, and I've been quiet for hours. You know that. You guys know that. That's not normal for Pepe. Let's be real. But I just think it's funny that when I try to just talk about this one specific topip, you have.
It was about to turn into some really bad work. It was about to turn into something bad, bro. We know you, right? Okay, so how come you've been silent all this time? As soon as we started talking about black issues, you get off your mic. Literally, as soon as we started talking about black issues, we've been talking about homelessness for 2 hours. On hush mode the whole entire time. As soon as we start talking about black issues, you want to come towards the mic. It's not going to happen.
I talked about this.
We know that shit.
Bro, that's his favorite drink, little drink.
We've been talking about the government of California for the past 3 hours. First we started talking about Negroes. He just remembers he has a microphone now. Go ahead, Pepe.
Well, no, you say black lives are somehow the law enforcement thinks that they are worthless, but we know that the extreme overrepresentation when it comes to black people largely murdering themselves, and they're also disproportionately more likely to attempt to kill or kill a police officer, which means they're also probably a lot more likely to get killed during one of those attempts. I just think it's silly.
Okay. I would like to move the conversation onward. If we get stuck in this conversation, it's going to be the rest of the room. I don't particularly want that. Xerxes.
Yeah, Xerxes, is you there? Because you said you got a recording of me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, is it like a Clubhouse recording?
I refuse to center you in this conversation. If you'd like to talk about the topic, we can do that.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to hit back on a couple of issues there, and I was curious where, like, Jason is a real big expert in this particular subject, and I imagine some of your activist work has given you some expertise. But what do you think of guns and/or gun violence? If you don't want to touch the topic, you don't have. If you don't want to touch the topic with a 20-foot pole, you don't have to. Because I shoot, I go hunting.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a user. Jason is more of an expert in the tradition and history that got us here. So if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to.
And where's NPC on that?
Are we talking about the blacks or something else? I don't know.
No guns.
No, we're talking about
Please
guns.
don't say the blacks again.
Well, I said the Jews earlier, so not to show you that
I totally trusted your statement when you made it. I didn't even need an example. But Marshall asked me a question about guns. So you are
I'm down for guns.
Good gun user.
Oh, I'm not a gun user, even though I should be.
Oh, okay.
Why should you be?
Because I live in Texas, and I can walk to the gun store right now. I should.
Yeah.
Please buy a gun. Please buy a gun.
So Marshall, it's for me like everything almost always is. Especially like the technology of guns is just like watches to me. I think they're beautiful machines. But regardless of my like slightly middle class upbringing, I did have to walk through some hoods and know some people and saw some things. I know what the smell is of human flesh and bullets, and I don't particularly love it.
Are you middle or middle
David,
lower?
will you stop?
David, stop him reflecting the audience.
That's
I swear to God.
David, shut the fuck up. God damn.
The next interruption winds you up in the audience. I don't care.
So I think that's interesting. So you talk about hoods. I agree with you. Hoods are kind of, obviously a lot of bad things happen there.
Different lessons, yeah.
But if you look at the white non-Hispanic population in America, despite us owning more firearms than pretty much any other white ethnic group in the world, our homicide rate is almost on par with that of Western Europe. It's actually lower than that of Eastern Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think our guns are really the problem. Now, if we were to look at, I'll just.
Our guns.
There's kind of a problem that follows population.
I'm so sorry. 1 second, Pepe.
Yes.
Do you mean our guns, the white people? Our guns, the United States?
Our guns, white people in the United States.
Okay.
So comparing populations, like to Europeans, which it's very hard for them to have guns in most countries.
Yeah.
We're going right
we
back.
still have a homicide rate, that's about the same as theirs, despite us having millions and millions of guns. However,
I love you to death, but I'm not trying to smuggle the other conversation back into this.
This is not what I'm doing. This is not what I'm doing. But if you're going to have a common sense conversation about gun control, who's committing the crimes? Where are they being committed? Okay, you have to look at all of it.
We haven't even gotten that far down the line. What all she said was, I know what the smell of flesh and bullets are.
Yeah.
And then we interrupted her. Right? She please, Xerxes, finish what you were saying.
It sounded like she was done.
Yeah.
No, she was not. That's part of the explanation.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I think the Constitution rocks. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome that a living document that can change and serve more and more people every day. And inside of that is the right for people to, exercise their Second Amendment. And I get that. I would never argue against that because it would be a slippery slope for people to argue against my rights as well. But I think the thing I don't enjoy is what psychologically what guns or having guns can do to people who are already slightly detached in this way, right? So like there's a different kind of like intention or motivation or action you can take, or that guy who died on my lawn when I was a kid, I just watched him die. I lived down the street from a police station, maybe 5 blocks away. It took them 90 minutes to respond because of the place that I lived in. No, this was a Hispanic kid. He had gotten shot in the chest, and the smell was real weird. You could smell it. Like I closed the windows and just watched because I'm a fucking weirdo like that. And by the time they got to him, he was not responsive and all those things, and it was kind of like sad. I don't know. I guess I would compare it to watching it.
Actually,
I would compare it to watching any kind of other animal like die, like just watching life like that. I never really had seen something like that before, like not in a movie. It's not an experience that I enjoy, and if I know that there are weapons on Earth that can do that, whether they be knives or guns or whatever, I'd rather just like not. I know there's an argument about, protecting yourself and what are you gonna do and all this stuff, but I mean, this is just what I've chosen for myself.
I did just look it up. ChatGPT'd it. So black people are 3.6 times more likely to kill the police. So that's actually a lot more than they are likely to be killed by the police.
Don't smuggle the rest.
I've had these conversations.
Does he hate black people or something? What's going on?
No, he's an
edgelord. He's just an edgelord.
I haven't had the black conversation much. Come on, guys. That's like kind of died. Elon died out, so I kind of.
Yeah, you're supposed to rebrand, but you know I seen this what we was talking about the other day. Like you gotta. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Switch it up, man.
So Xerxes, you know why we might need another war? You know why we might need another depression? Because good times create people who think like you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a natural way. So what happens is, there's this one saying, perfect is the enemy of good. Perfect is the enemy of good. Let's use every single situation. You remember how when we're talking about climate change, the beginning of it, we're both talking about, hey, even if we did do anything, it wouldn't fucking matter anyway. Even if we did the most we can do, it's not going to change the outcome. The same thing with fucking guns in the United States. The same, we said that no matter what we do as humans, it's been proven by science.
You can't stop the disaster.
Stop it.
Right.
Yeah, we can't stop it. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with gun control, is the way that we talk about it. So you're talking about a little kid who got shot. So if I'm against gun control now, I'm agreeing with the kid who got shot, acting like if we took the guns away, there's no ability to take the guns away. And even if we took all the guns away, these people called criminals. And let me tell you something about criminals. You get a lot longer in jail for killing somebody than owning an illegal firearm. But people kill people all day. It's actually illegal to kill people. I don't know if you knew that, but it's actually illegal to kill people. It hasn't really stopped anyone, though. It hasn't really stopped a lot of people from killing a lot of people.
That's the funny thing is you'd see these little gang member like teenagers in Chicago, and what I'll notice is that obviously it's illegal to carry a handgun concealed without a permit. They probably have records. Some of them are of age, some of them aren't, so they're carrying illegally. They have high-capacity magazines, illegal. Then they have this nifty little device, a switch that you can install on the back plate of a
and some of us call it a dick,
which makes it fully automatic. Now that's a federal law that you're breaking, and so you automatically, that's like up to close to 10 years in prison. Now they do not give a fuck. Like, they are gonna have their guns. I mean. Trying to I don't. So it seems like it's a people problem. I'm gonna go through because I'll be quick.
So number one is criminals don't follow laws. That's why they're criminals. And it turns out that killing a person is a way bigger crime than owning an illegal firearm, and have no problem doing both. The second thing is, like, let's say you had a Thanos glove and you say, okay, snap, all the guns are gone. The guns from Canada and Mexico would just pour in anyway because we're not landlocked like Australia. So doing a buyback program won't work because we're not an island. And then the third thing, which is the biggest thing, is that we are the largest arms manufacturer on the planet. How can you live in the chocolate factory but no one has chocolate? That's what we're talking. The very inception of the United States is a warrior arms culture. To remove guns from the United States is moving a wing from a bird. It just worked. It won't help anyone, and it won't help that young Mexican child from not being shot.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if anybody was arguing that, though.
Can I just ask one question to Marshall real quick? All right.
Yeah, of course, man. What's up?
Everyone, just want to say hello to everyone
By the way,
out
I
there.
just want to say I removed Pepe.
Nice.
I hit my racist threshold.
I just couldn't. It was so like weird.
I was just.
Well, it was nice to meet you, Pepe.
But Pepe has been like less racist than
Was it
usual.
Xerxes? Was it nice to meet him? Was it really? Was it really nice to meet him?
I mean, I got a concussion a year and a half ago. I'll probably forget all of this ever happened. So, go on, Keith. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I hope you're kidding about that. My son plays football. I don't want one concussion to fuck his memory up, you know.
Oh, I'll let you live in fantasy then.
Damn, just one. All right. Anyway,
Just one.
I'm gonna pray for you. And
Thanks.
That's crazy.
It's all good. I just get to live in the moment more.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I wanted to ask Marshall one question, and that question was, how does he feel about what Trump's trying to do with this FISA thing by, kind of pushing back on some of the privacy-protected rights that we have by the Fourth Amendment? That Trump himself was a proponent, these FISA restrictions as they exist now, but now he's asking that they make a vote on this, and it leads me to believe, Marshall, that I don't know, he's expecting some kind of blowback, and that's why he wants to do like mass surveillance. But I want to know what your thoughts are. Thank you very much.
Violence of who and why? Mass surveillance, repeat that again?
Looks like Marshall left.
All right. Well, anyone else care to, or maybe it's something that's uninteresting.
My bad. I wasn't even listening.
Yeah, you said Marshall. I stopped listening.
Yeah, that's what you said, Marshall.
All good.
Mass surveillance, folks.
Yeah, Trump is compelling people, especially like the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, to get some of his political cohorts, if you will, to vote on this law that will repeal some of the protections in the FISA court. And Trump once came out against this sort of thing because of what happened to him